All right, so I did a show and tell the other day on this K-bar sheath that I made, and I wanted to go ahead and do. I can't really do a step-by-step like a like start to finish, but I thought what I would do is I would kind of share part of the process, or as much as I could, on making a sheath like that. And now I have this M-Tech knife. I really like this knife, but the sheath, for what it is, just plastic and nylon, it's not too bad. But I do want to make a sheath for like the one I have for my K-bar for this knife. And I went through my pieces of scrap, and I have just enough, I think, to make one. And so I'm gonna kind of do like I guess like a journal log of the process. I can't necessarily do a step by step, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show like kind of how I come up with the components for it. So like this first piece here, it would be like the back, or this piece, it'd be the back of it. And I got it strictly basically taking a straight up measurement of the old sheath. That way I have plenty of real estate around the blade. You can see I need to insert a piece here around the knife. Now you can do it in strips. You can kind of like come down to here. What I did with my K-bar is I came down one side, and then I fit a piece into here, and then a piece down this side. But on this one, I'm going to try to get it all in one piece. And this is what all my scraps look like. See, they're like, I don't know, seconds or thirds, or whatever. It was just a big bag of scraps. But this is what they all look like, and they're different thicknesses and stuff like that. This is real soft and floppy. So I'm probably going to end up reinforcing this. But this one is really, really stiff. And this knife is a little thicker than my K-bar, and this thick piece will be a really good welt or insert piece around that. I think they call it a welt. Like I said in another video, I'm not a professional at this. I just kind of cobble as I go. But anyways, what I'm going to do is I will cut this piece down to about there. I'll cut it square, and then all I'll do is trace, and I do all of this with my Swiss Army knife. That's all I sewed all of this with my Swiss Army knife, and I have a little just kind of show you the tools that I'm using here. This is my sewing kit / repair kit that I carry everywhere with me when I go out in the woods. And it's just some heavy duty needles for, stitching up the leather stuff that I make, or military surplus stuff. It's just needles and artificial sinew. So what I'll do is I will trace, once I get the square cut out on that, I'll figure out where it's going to go. And it doesn't really matter. See, there's a rough side and a smooth side. So I want the smooth side out on this piece where it's going to be going around. This piece, it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is, once I get the square on here, and I'll just trace it out with my awl or the tip of my knife, I will then just take and trace the profile of this knife blade, cut it out, and it'll be ready to stack in there. And then all I've got to do is put another square off of another piece, like this one here, on the front, and I'm set. The only problem I'll have, and I will have, extra out of this, and that's probably what I'll make the, I'm going to, kind of like what I have on the K-bar here, for the whetstone, I'm going to put a box on the front like this one has, except it'll be a snap where I have a ferro rod and a sharpening stone. So I'm going to take, designs of this knife or this case and put it on the leather case, and then I'll figure out some other stuff as I go. What kind of snaps or how many snaps will go on the these guys here that'll go. So it's kind of a work in progress, but I just thought I'd go ahead and do that. Oh, and I do use a ruler. So I use these things, and everything is used on the Swiss Army knife. Is the the little blade and the long blade, and it cuts through this. You can kind of go like this and trace it, and just, you know, kind of just score it down a couple, just a layer at a time, and you're good to go. So anyways, this is, I mean, it's pretty crude what I'm doing here, but you can make something really cool like this, and you don't have to have all this elaborate you know, leatherworking stuff. You know, I'm working on my kitchen table, and the only thing I'm doing to protect the surface of the table, because I'm driving my awl down into it, is I have some scrap pieces from other projects that are really, really thick, and I double them up so I don't drive all the way through, because you only have to drive just the tip of your awl through. At least this is how I'm doing it, is I make, like, say 7 awl holes, and then I sew it with the needle. So like this would be one seam, and then that would be one seam, and then I'll come up and I'll do, you know, this part here and then this part here, and that saves me in the long run, because if I do pop a stitch, it's only going to come undone up to here, and then the rest of this, you know, isn't going to go anywhere. So all I have to do is repair that part. And my pouches are the same way, where I've got like a pouch. If I only sew down to here, you know, and then to here, then, and sometimes I'll go back and forth 3 or 4 times if it's on like a real say like a burden spot, or a spot that's going to take a lot of weight. The leather is going to actually have to rip apart before the seam will blow. So anyways, I guess this will probably be part 1 of my series. I'm hoping to do it in, like, say 3 or 4 more parts, but this is just kind of the introduction. So anyways, I'm going to get back inside and get to work, and we'll see you on the next one.